So this exercise is for your ankles and toes, and I would normally be doing this on a mat on the floor, but it's much harder to film and I've got set up for this height, so I'm just doing it on the bed for now. So we're going to start off on hands and knees with something soft under your knees. So you could use a mat on the floor, a blanket on the floor, cushion on the floor even under your knees, or you can use your bed if you need to. So you're going to start off with your toes pointed behind you so that you've got your toenails are facing the floor or the mat or whatever you are. And then you're going to sit back onto your heels. And what you'll feel is that this stretches out the front of the ankle joint. And you just have a bit of play, shift your weight left and right if your knees can cope with it, and just feel where you need the most stretch. Now you can do this with one ankle back, or you can do it with two. So doing it with one ankle back, you can often get a slightly more targeted stretch, but doing it with two is good, particularly at the beginning. It's really creaky and annoying because it's got the plastic on for my coronavirus precautions. So I will be spraying this bed with disinfectant afterwards. So that's just stretching out the front of the ankle joint capsule. You can increase that stretch or change it by bringing your knees apart. And you may find that you can go further back or less far back. It just depends where the restrictions in the front of your ankle joint capsule are. So we're really just trying to stretch through the front of the ankle, the top of the foot there. Then what we're going to do is bring your weight back forwards again, so onto your hands, and this time you're going to tuck your toes underneath you so that your toenails are pointing the ceiling. And then we're going to sit up on here. Now I realise that you can't see my face quite so well right now, but I can assure you that I'm really feeling this stretch underneath my big toes. And I'm not going to be able to hold this position for very long because I do not practice this stretch nearly often enough. But the idea is that you should be able to hold this stretch for a minute or two without feeling too much discomfort. Now I've got bunions on both sides. They don't normally hurt, but I do have tight big toes. So I'm going to bring that forwards again. And I'm going to stretch out the front of the ankle joint. Now, the other thing I want to show you is how to stretch out the back of the ankle joint. So we've shown you the front of the ankle joint and shown you how to stretch out your big toes. But the stretching out the back of the ankle joint is also super, super important. Because what I see very often is people who just don't have enough dorsiflexion, so the ability to bring your knee forward over your toe. So what I'm going to show you with this one is, this is a good position. So I'm going to come up into here and I'm going to hold. I'm going to try and anchor down the talus, the top of the foot here. And then as I do that, I'm just going to work into different positions with my knee. So I'm just going to try and push my talus, push my foot backwards as my knee comes forwards. And I can feel that I'm okay going to the outside, but I'm a little stiff and tight going to the inside. So I'm just going to be pushing my foot backwards as my knee comes forwards, holding my foot backwards. I'm not literally, it's not going to slide backwards on me, but I'm just going to hold my foot in place with the web space of my thumb and first finger. And what you can feel is if you try doing it without that, is you hit resistance differently. So if you're pushing down into there. So that's quite a nice exercise for stretching out the back of the ankle, or at least it changes the stretch. So if I come into, same thing on this side, so you can see it's the web space I'm using, just holding onto the front top of the foot, holding that in position while I bring my knee over the top and stretch into there. So then I'll come back and I'll stretch the front of the ankle again. So just sitting on there like that, again, playing around with the stretch so I can feel it in different places on there. And what I can also do, if I want to feel that stretch more, is if I put my one foot on top of the other, so I'm now feeling that my right foot's on top, and I'm now feeling that stretch much more strongly in the top of the right foot. And then to stretch the front of the left ankle more, I'm going to switch positions, put my left foot on top of the arch of my right foot. So I'm really feeling that stretch strongly through there. Then stretching the toes again, toes tucked under, sit up, sit back. If that's too much, you can keep some weight on your hands and just sort of push back through there and nudge back. And try and sort of spread your toes while you're doing it. Not the easiest thing when you've got bunions like I have, but we're just trying to spread the old toes there. And so that's how you stretch the front of the ankle, the ankle joint itself and sort of trying to use that stretch, and then the big toes. So there you go.